The constant liar does not always begin with obvious deception. They often start with small stories that feel harmless and even charming. At first, you may excuse it as forgetfulness or exaggeration, but over time, the pattern becomes clear. Their words shift. Their stories change. What they say today does not match what they said yesterday. Slowly, trust begins to fade even if you cannot explain why. They lie to protect their image. They lie to avoid responsibility. They lie to control how others see them. For them, the truth feels dangerous because it exposes their flaws and insecurities. So they build a false version of themselves and invite you to believe in it. At first, it feels real, but it is only a mask. Being around a constant liar is exhausting. You begin to question your own memory. You start wondering if you misunderstood or imagined things. This is how their behavior affects you. They create confusion so that you doubt yourself instead of them. Over time, this damages your sense of reality and your confidence. They promise change, but their actions never follow. They say what you want to hear to keep you close. But when the moment comes to be honest, they choose comfort over truth. You may hold on to hope that they will become different, but a hope cannot fix a pattern that they refuse to acknowledge. A constant liar fears accountability. The truth would force them to face their mistakes. It would require growth. So instead, they twist the story to protect their pride. They would rather lose trust than admit they were wrong. This behavior creates unstable relationships. You never feel safe. You never feel secure. You are always waiting for the next lie to be uncovered. Even when they tell the truth, you hesitate to believe it. Trust once broken does not easily return. You deserve honesty. You deserve clarity. You deserve to feel safe in your connections. A relationship without truth cannot grow. It becomes a space filled with doubt and emotional distance. Letting go of a constant liar is not easy. You may remember the good moments and the promises they made, but their words without truth have no foundation. You cannot build a future on lies. Choosing to walk away is choosing self-respect. Always ends with them as the victim. Being around a victim player is emotionally draining. You feel responsible for their happiness. You feel guilty for their sadness. You feel like you must constantly prove your care. They pull you into their emotional storm and expect you to save them. Yet no matter how much you give, it is never enough. There is always another problem. There is always another wound. There is always another reason they cannot change. They resist solutions because solutions remove their identity. If they heal, they lose the story that gives them attention. They lose the excuse that protects them from risk. So they stay stuck. They repeat the same pain. They replay the same narrative, and they expect the world to bend around it. The victim player avoids responsibility by claiming helplessness. They say they cannot change because life has been too hard. They say they cannot try because they have been hurt before. They use the past as a shield to avoid the future. But pain is not a reason to stop growing. It is a reason to rise. Over time, you may begin to shrink around them. You may silence your own needs to avoid triggering their pain. You may carry their emotional weight while ignoring your own. This is not love. This is emotional imbalance. A relationship should be shared, not carried alone. You deserve connections that grow with you, not ones that trap you in cycles of blame. You deserve people who take responsibility for their actions. You deserve honesty and effort and mutual care. Walking away from a victim player is not cruel. It is self-respect. You cannot save someone who refuses to save themselves. You can only choose to stop being part of the story that keeps them stuck. The constant liar does not always begin with obvious deception. They often start with small stories that feel harmless and even charming. At first, you may excuse it as forgetfulness or exaggeration, but over time, the pattern becomes clear. Their words shift. Their stories change. What they say today does not match what they said yesterday. Slowly, trust begins to fade even if you cannot explain why. They lie to protect their image. They lie to avoid responsibility. They lie to control how others see them. Instead of owning their mistakes, they twist the story, they shift blame, they rewrite reality to make themselves look innocent. This behavior creates unstable relationships. Trust disappears, security fades. You never feel fully safe. Even when they tell the truth, you hesitate to believe it. A relationship without honesty becomes a space filled with doubt. You deserve clarity. You deserve peace. You deserve relationships where you feel secure and respected. Truth is the foundation of connection. Without it, everything collapses. Letting go of a constant liar is choosing self-respect. It is choosing emotional safety. It is choosing to believe that you deserve better. When you walk away, you open the door for honest connections. You are not asking for too much by wanting the truth. You are asking for what you deserve. And you should never feel guilty for choosing honesty over deception. The jealous friend may appear supportive at first. They smile when you share your dreams and clap when you succeed. But behind that smile lies comparison and insecurity. They measure their life against yours, and every step you take forward reminds them of where they feel stuck. They do not hate you, but they hate how your growth makes them face their own fears. They listen to your goals, yet respond with doubt. They celebrate you, yet minimize your achievements. Their words carry hidden poison. They ask questions that feel supportive, but are meant to gather information. They watch closely, waiting for a moment to feel better than you. When you struggle, they feel relief instead of concern. Jealousy turns into quiet competition. They keep score in their mind. They compare timelines, success, happiness, and relationships. They feel threatened when you shine. Instead of being inspired, they feel exposed. Your progress becomes a mirror they do not want to look into. They may copy you. They may criticize you. They may try to one-up you, but the energy always feels off. You leave conversations feeling smaller instead of lifted. You feel tension even in moments meant for celebration. You sense that something is wrong even when you cannot explain it. A jealous struggles to truly be happy for you. They see your joy as proof of their own lack. Their support feels conditional. They are present when you are struggling, but distant when you are thriving. They need you beneath them to feel safe. You are not responsible for shrinking yourself to protect their feelings. Your success does not take anything from them. You deserve to grow without guilt. You deserve friends who cheer without comparison. Sometimes love means letting go, not because they are bad people, but because their pain makes them harmful. Actions stay the same. Their words become empty because they are not supported by truth. You may hold on to hope that they will change, but hope alone cannot fix dishonesty. A constant liar fears accountability. They avoid facing the consequences of their actions. Instead of owning their mistakes, they twist the story. They shift blame. They rewrite reality to make themselves look innocent. This behavior creates unstable relationships. Trust disappears. Security fades. You never feel fully safe. Even when they tell the truth, you hesitate to believe it. A relationship without honesty becomes a space filled with doubt. You deserve clarity. You deserve peace. You deserve relationships where you feel secure and respected. Truth is the foundation of connection. Without it, everything collapses. Letting go of a constant liar is choosing self-respect, is choosing emotional safety. It is choosing to believe that you deserve better. When you walk away, you open the door for honest connections. You are not asking for too much by wanting the truth. You are asking for what you deserve, and you should never feel guilty for choosing honesty over deception. The energy drainer is the kind of person who slowly pulls the life out of every room they enter without ever touching anyone. At first, they may seem harmless or even friendly, but over time, you begin to notice how tired you feel after being around them. They always carry a cloud of negativity that follows them everywhere. No matter what the situation is, they find something wrong with it. They complain about their life, their job, their relationships, and even their own dreams, yet they never take steps to change anything. They feed on attention and emotional reactions, and the more you give, the more exhausted you become. They speak about their problems constantly and expect you to fix what they refuse to face. They repeat the same stories again and again, hoping someone will feel sorry for them and carry their emotional weight. You may begin to feel responsible for their happiness and slowly forget your own needs. Your energy becomes their fuel, and they take without ever giving back. They do not celebrate your success because it reminds them of what they refuse to build. Instead of supporting you, they find subtle ways to make you feel guilty for growing. When you try to be positive around them, they respond with doubt and fear. When you share your dreams, they tell you why it will never work. When you feel hopeful, they remind you of everything that can go wrong. Their words may not sound cruel, but they drain your spirit through constant pessimism. Over time, you start questioning yourself and feeling smaller than you were before. Their presence turns into a heavy weight on your heart. The energy drainer rarely takes responsibility for their emotional state. They blame the world, their past, and everyone around them for how they feel. They do not seek healing because their pain has become their identity. Without their sadness, they would not know who they are. So they cling to it and spread it to others. They are not always aware of what they are doing, but the impact is real. At first, their lies may seem small and harmless, but over time, you realize that nothing they say can be trusted. They change their words to fit their needs and twist reality to protect their image. You begin to feel confused because their stories never match their actions. One day they say one thing, and the next day they deny it completely. You start questioning your own memory and judgment. They lie to avoid responsibility and to gain control over how others see them. They fear being exposed, so they keep building new lies to cover old ones. This creates a cycle that never ends. They may promise things they never intend to keep. They may speak of loyalty while secretly betraying you. Their words become empty because they are not rooted in truth. Being around someone who breaks boundaries creates emotional exhaustion. You feel watched, judged, and pressured. Your energy feels drained because you are always defending your right to exist as you are. You may feel anxious.